Thanks to the support as a channel member, Nick Collard. This is when you know you're taking things seriously, when you go out and spend £65 on a replica shirt on Amazon Prime, so it's here the next day, that's probably fake. A shirt's real on Amazon. Are they usually that expensive? Either way, there's an Arsenal shirt behind me now, and as and when we either finish the save with Arsenal or more likely leave Arsenal and move on to our next club, I'm going to be giving it away. I don't know how I'll give it away yet, but it's in for the videos, and then one of you lot can have it afterwards because I've got enough rags to wash my car with as it is. Hello and welcome to Club 3, Part 2 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we face Manchester City and Fulham in the Premier League. But more important than all of that, it is the January transfer window. This is going to be make or break time for whether or not we survive here at Arsenal. We've played a few games since the last episode. I think you saw the defeat against Chelsea and the victory over Borussia Mönchengladbach. We then lost against Wolves, lost against Brighton at home, and drew against Aston Villa. And I was panicking at this point because I thought we were going to get relegated. I was going to get sacked. We still might. All of that might still happen. But then we slowly start to turn things around. We got a big win in the Europa League against Qarabag. Stuffed Blackburn for the second time this season. I'm pretty sure it was Blackburn that we stuffed with Posh in the first episode of the season. Yeah, we put 9 past them with Peterborough earlier in the year. And we've put 7 past them with Arsenal. Blackburn are rock bottom of the league. Part, they're just terrible. And part, clearly, they can't cope with that 4-2-3-1 gegenpress that has now put 16 goals past them in 2 games with 2 different squads of players this season. We followed that up with a cheeky little fitness friendly during an international break where we won 19-0 against local volunteers. But then we lost in the Premier League to Norwich, and I thought all of that was a waste. But then we beat Tottenham in the North London derby, and I was a hero again. We followed it up with a 4-0 win over Sunderland to knock them out of the FA Cup. And all of it really means we're not much better off than we were at the start when we first arrived. And we're still 19th in the league. We've now got 10 points on the board. Importantly, we have now won some games. We hadn't won a match when I arrived. We've now won twice. We're 8 points behind Aston Villa and Leicester. That's who we're chasing. It is exactly at the halfway point of the season. We have got some ground to make up, and we're going to be doing it by some serious transfer market manipulation. As you can see, Posh are in free fall, but I can't afford any of the players that I want from there. I've gone in trying to get Parsons, trying to get Petrozilka, trying to get Pelistri and Shortire and Kirstic. You're looking at 100 million minimum for each of them. If you don't believe me when I quote that kind of price to you, if you think that's madness, look at a transfer that's just gone through. Jack Joyce, remember him? Jack Joyce, who we had on loan in the Championship, who couldn't do it in the Premier League, had a good season back in the Championship again, still can't do it in the Premier League. Manchester City have just paid £84 million for him. The transfer market is insane. We ain't getting Parsons for less than 150 million, and we don't have 150 million pounds to spend. But we have started moving. We are trying to hunt for bargains and shift Deadwood all at the same time. So, James Ward-Prowse has gone to Leicester for £5.75 million. He was playing regularly, but at 33, I want a shot of him. Nicolas Sula has gone to Atletico Madrid for £20 million, mainly because we were paying him £200,000 a week. He's 32. He didn't want to sign a contract extension, so he cashed in 6 months before his contract was due. It's actually the biggest transfer fee of his career, even though he's old and almost out of contract. They could have just taken him on a pre-contract, but we've managed to bring a little bit of cash in, got £200,000 a week off the wage bill. And we've also sold Ezekiel Barco. He's gone to play in China, £15.75 million to get rid of him. The Arsenal transfer policy for years has been absolute bobbins. £19 million for him, never played him. Well, get rid of him then. What's he still doing here? So we've got rid of all of them lot, and we've started to bring players in as well. None of these have made debuts yet. The window's only just opened, but we've already got 5 new players in. Pete Bristow is the striker that I identified early on, showed you him in the last episode. I know you're going to hate him because he's only got 9 for finishing, but he can play out wide as well. He's got a few England under-21 caps. He's only 22. He's English, and he's got 4-star current ability, which officially makes him, star rating-wise, the best left winger at the club. He's the best right winger at the club, and he's as good as João Pedro or Adeyemi as a striker. So to me, leading player for most Premier Division sides, and he's lightning quick. And he's got 22 from 29 for Toronto. I know it's in the MLS. It's still goals, isn't it? He was scoring goals down there as well. To me, he's the same age as Jack Joyce, was as good as him in the Championship, and we've got him for 16 million rather than 84. So seems like good business to me. And we've also brought Samuel Goncalves in, who's a 19-year-old Portuguese left-back. He's going straight back out on loan. I thought he'd be better than this. He isn't. He's one for the future. Not really the kind of player we want to be bringing in now. What do you mean, Kev? That's what they all are. Islam Estigniev is an 18-year-old Kazakh international who's 2-star current ability, 3.5-star potential. I'm losing my mind at this point. The scouts here are trash. They're all getting replaced. Jordan Alexic is an 18-year-old Serbian left-back with 1.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. But then we started signing proper players again, the first of hopefully several who are going to come in. Pedri has come in from Arsenal. He's a 25-year-old Spanish international, central midfielder who can play anywhere across the attacking midfield three as well. He is an elite midfielder, 4-star current ability. He's as good as any attacking midfielder we've got at the club, as good as any central midfielder, and he's pretty competitive out on the wings as well. He was at Barcelona. He ended up never really getting in the team there. So he moved on to Chelsea, never really got in the team there. But I think he's very much got a role to play in a relegation threatened Arsenal in central midfield, because we don't really have any central midfielders who are under the age of 30. Because we were going with Kovacic and Ward-Prowse and just a bunch of other old men. This freshens things up a little bit in central midfield. We've got a couple more players we're trying to bring in as well. Carlos Gascon is a 23-year-old centre-back from Valencia. Liam Delap is a 24-year-old English striker from Chelsea. So hopefully we'll get both those two in as well. We're also trying to ship out anyone who doesn't want to be here. So Karim Adeyemi wants to go to Paris Saint-Germain. We've tried to convince him to stay, but he's grumpy. He's asking to leave. He wants to go there. So we agreed we'd sell him for 65 million. They've met that price. So he's probably leaving. João Pedro, I'd like to get shot of as well. Quaresma's now going to start more games. Now Sula's gone. Sula was another one who was upset. But my basic game plan is get rid of everybody who doesn't want to be here, no matter how good they are. Bring in the same kind of players we were signing for Peterborough, under 23s who are already good and are going to get better. And know that that's going to, or hope that that's going to be enough to save us. We'll see how we get on against Manchester City. We're going to have Pedri's debut, which is going to be an interesting one. His debut in that central midfield, and probably Adeyemi's final game for the club. But we're going with Dragowski in goal, a back four of Tierney, Gabriel, Quaresma and Williams, Doyle and Pedri in midfield, Nelson, Almada, Adeyemi and João Pedro as the front four. New boy Pete Bristow is down on the bench, and expect to see him at some point because, like I say, João Pedro's days at the club are numbered. I think the fee we've agreed with him that we'll sell him for is 83 million. Barcelona are interested in him. I'm not going to sell him for a penny less than 83 million. We've turned down an offer of 65 million from Barcelona for him. And he's agreed not to sulk as long as we accept 83. So if we can get 83 for him, 65 for Adeyemi, plus the ones that have already gone through, that's like 200 million pounds of player sales then. We're obviously, times of desperate need, going to be utilising the never never this window. So if we can sell 200 million pounds off of players, we could spend 300 or 400 million and just throw money around, and that then gives us the potential to maybe get Parsons in to play at the back, maybe get someone like a Pelistri in or Pelistri to play on that right hand side if Adeyemi's going to be leaving, or maybe rather than just hunting back at my old club, maybe we could go out and buy some players who are in a similar mould. Like we got Parsons for 20 million off of Reading, and he was brilliant and Premier League quality straight away. So let's try and do that again rather than spending 150 million on him a year and a half after I'd already spent 20 million on him. Right, pump the fists. We want to avenge what happened last time we played Manchester City. To be honest, I'll be happy with a draw here. Neither team are creating very much, which, I mean, I think that's pretty illustrative of the fact João Pedro's already checked out, as has Adeyemi. We probably need to be moving both of those boys on sooner rather than later. But fingers crossed, we'll be able to hold on and at least not lose, because then it's the start of an unbeaten run then. We've not lost our last couple of games. If we can continue not losing sooner or later, that accumulates points in itself. sooner or later you start winning as well. This bunch of players should not be in a relegation battle. João Pedro's in and he scores. I knew he still loved us. Our captain, João Pedro, his 12th goal of the season. It's Arsenal 1, Manchester City nil. What's the difference? Some northern team nil. And that is huge. I've just offended the whole north, haven't I? I offended Scotland the other week. I mean, north of England, Scotland, basically. Stop it, Kev. I love everybody, really. I'm only playing. If you got offended by that, then I don't know how you've lasted on the channel this long, because you must know me by now. You know I don't mean it. Right. I'm not really going to use an Arsenal shirt to clean my car. That's what Spurs shirts are for. Stop it, Kev. Oh, this is your job. You can't scare everybody away. Right, Saka's coming on the left-hand side. And I think we might bring on Pete Bristow on the right. He can make his debut over there. What foot do you use, Pete? You use your right foot. Well, you can be a winger then. And we'll make that as a little double change. Pedri's not having a particularly spectacular debut in central midfield. Almada is tiring, though. So maybe we could move Pedri forward as we are trying to kill off this match. Another of the old men's club there in Ceballos, who is another one we want rid of. Just want to get rid of the old men. Aja can come on in midfield. Pedri moves a little bit further forward. And we now have a completely refreshed attacking front three, who hopefully... Saka's left-footed, isn't he? Shouldn't he be... Should I swap these two over? I feel like I should probably swap the two wide players over. Williams looking to get the cross in, finds Saka, and he scores. I knew he was better on the left. I just knew it. I'm a tactical genius. I am still going to swap them over. I want them both cutting inside because that's how we like to do things around here. But importantly, it's 2-0. That puts us 1 point behind Everton as it stands. Surely we should be on more than 11 points. We were on 10 at the start of the game, weren't we? Have we gone back to the 60s? Are we only on 2 points for a win here? What's going on? Right, swap those two over, because then he can be over here as an inside forward, and he can be over there as an inverted winger. That is much more like how I want a front three to play. So fingers crossed that starts to become a thing that works, because obviously with what's-his-face leaving, Adeyemi leaving, this is then a front four that we can actually use going forward. Although Pedri I want deeper, because that's where we've got the bigger need. We've got Almada who can play as the attacking midfielder, and he, at the moment, hasn't got a hissy fit on, so he doesn't want to leave currently. The lad we're bringing in from Chelsea, hopefully, is the guy I've got earmarked for the João Pedro replacement. And then that fixes the attack, I think. If we get the guy from Valencia, that fixes the defence. Pedri's pretty close to fixing the midfield. And we're pretty close to fixing the whole team then. And then we can just continue moving on old men and bringing in youngsters. Doing it the Kev way. We're going to be safe. We're going to survive. Doesn't matter if this is a penalty or not, because they're not going to score. It's not worth 2 goals, is it? We might only be on 2 points for a win inexplicably, but I don't think they're on 2 goals for a penalty. It wasn't even a penalty anyway. What was all the fuss about? Why did the referee wander all the way off over there looking at his little telly if it wasn't even going to be a penalty? What a waste of everybody's time that was. They have got a free kick though. There's 12 seconds left on the clock and Quaresma heads it clear. There is Jack Joyce, the £84 million man. Bet you wish you'd signed for Posh when you had the chance, you rascal, because you'd be a superstar over there now. Dragowski. So I mean, the thing is, Ricky J. Jones was always better than him. So be interesting to see what his future holds now. Maybe I judged him too harshly at Posh, and he'll end up going on to be a superstar. But that feels like a turning point. The Tottenham game felt like a turning point. Hopefully, we've not now turned back around again. But I mean, this is a couple of good results in a row now. 3 straight wins. I know one of them's against Sunderland in the FA Cup, but 3 straight wins is a big deal. And now we go to Fulham, or in fact, Fulham come to us. We could make it 3 wins in a row in the Premier League. And all of a sudden, we're looking less and less in danger. Only 5 points behind Leicester and Villa now. We're getting out of this. We are getting out of this. Well, I was hoping to have a little bit more transfer news before the Fulham game. The only thing that's actually gone through, though, is the sale of Adeyemi to Paris Saint-Germain. So he has left. And no one seems interested in João Pedro, so he might be staying. But the 2 players that we were hoping to get in, Gascon and Delap, they haven't gone through yet. So we will have to wait for next episode to see if we finalise those 2 deals. They, like I say, they are both on limited amounts up front. So fingers crossed we should be able to get both of them through with plenty of money to spare to keep on spending, even if we don't get João Pedro. That's not going to be the only business we do. And at the moment, we're not wrecking Dynamics doing it, because Dynamics was a bit of a mess when I arrived anyway. If anything, it's continuing to improve as we turn results around on the pitch. So we need to keep improving the squad, keep bringing in new players. So the team for the Fulham game, we've shaken things up just a little bit. The midfield is going to be Doyle and Kovacic for this one. Pedri's going to have a go on the left wing. I wasn't particularly impressed with his performance against Manchester City, so we'll try him a little bit more further forward. We'll find a spot for him. He is considered an elite attacking midfielder, but he's never really been a regular starter anywhere, so we'll find a spot for him. It'll be fine. Saka, this is his role now. Now the other guy's gone. Almada's the one who stayed. Adeyemi. Now Adeyemi's gone. Saka is our first choice right midfielder. It says there he'd be our third best, but Bristow and Pedro probably are going to be competing for the striker spot. So Saka on the right, Pedri on the left for today, and then Almada and João Pedro up front once again with Bristow on the bench. Reece Nelson dropping down to the bench as well. Can obviously compete in both of those wide areas. Also, let's go beat Fulham. We need to beat Fulham. Where are they in the league? Shall we have a little look at the league table, see where Fulham are? I feel like this is probably a must-win game. So league table-wise, Fulham are 12th. Posh down to 11th now. It's all going wrong at Posh. Philip Cocu, by the way, is the new Peterborough manager, and clearly hasn't got a clue what he's doing. Have they won a game since I left? This is a disaster. If we end up surviving with them getting relegated, I am going to feel quite upset about the situation. Not the us surviving part. I'm keen for that to happen, but them getting relegated, although I guess it does mean I can raid them for all of those young players. So, there's no room for sentiment here. They might be my team, but if I can get Parsons for 12 million quid, let them burn. I'm such a monster. Right, Tierney heads forward to Pedri, who is already looking more lively on the left-hand side. I don't think I said his name once against Manchester City. João Pedro's in again. I'm hoping, because nobody's coming in with offers for him, if we continue turning things around on the pitch and he's still here at the end of January, my new hope is that he decides he wants to stay after all, and because he is an important player for us, and if we can get his head right, he'll be a superstar for us. Gabriel, I don't know, is it Gabriel? No one knows. Lots of people know. He's at Arsenal in real life, isn't he? Arsenal fans probably know. We're 1-0 up. That's the important thing. And that puts us just 3 points behind Leicester and Villa as things stand. And we are slowly but surely clawing our way out of trouble. This is all good stuff. We're obviously still in the Europa League as well. So we've got that to look forward to. That was a bit iffy there, but we've got away with it. And it's Doyle again in midfield, playing it back to Quaresma, and then Kovacic, who's next on my list to be replaced, really. I know he's still one of the better midfielders at the club, but he's another one who's 33. Bin him off. They're too old. Saka has just scored his second goal of the episode. He's loving life under me. 6th goal of the season for him, 2-0 to Arsenal. And a little confirmation again that the league table is starting to look really rather handsome. I mean, we're still only in we're Arsenal, we're in 18th place. I'm calling that handsome. But we could be on for mid-table finishes here. I genuinely think we could finish above Posh based on how the form of the two clubs have changed since the 2-0 win for Peterborough. That was my final game as manager there. Normally I would edit that out, but I'm not going to, because there's a highlight going. They don't normally happen while the highlight's happening. So there you go. There's a little look behind the curtain. Sometimes when there's nothing going on the screen, my tongue will just inflate and be no use to anybody. I don't think it's ever happened during a highlight before, so I have to leave it in. It was a nothing highlight, so we'll have to see what Future Kev does with it. Although now I'm still talking about it now I have to leave it in, or else there's 2 highlights taken away, and then it just starts to look weird. Probably should have just not mentioned it. That's what a pro would have done. Doyle across to Kovacic. Kovacic to Saka, who's played a lovely ball across to João Pedro, and his effort goes just wide. It's 2-0 as we hit half-time. That is really going rather nicely. Let's continue pumping the fists. We pump the fists at every opportunity around these parts. it does seem to be quite effective. What's also quite effective is the way we're playing today. Fulham, the second team in January to not have a shot against us. So they have now had a shot. But Sunderland didn't get a shot in the FA Cup game either. We're playing pretty well. I mean, Fulham are up in 12th place in the league, well ahead of us. But I think it's pretty clear we're a better side than they are. And we were just being pathetic until I arrived. Right, Pedri, another disappointing performance. Hopefully he'll settle in at some point. But for now, Reece Nelson can come on. We're going to take off Kovacic and bring on Azure in midfield again. And we're also going to take off Saka, who looks like he's tiring. So Bristow can come on that right-hand side where he can play as a winger. And we'll have a look at him as a winger on this side. So second appearance since his transfer from Bristow. Is already thinking, I thought I was coming in as a striker. This joker's playing me out wide. What's happening here? Welcome to Arsenal. We're all about Thierry Henrying players. You think you're a striker? Get on the wing. You think you're a winger? Get up front. Think you're a defender? Play in goal. That's how we do things around here. I'm the new Arsene Wenger, except better glasses, actual beard. That's how you tell us apart. His glasses were weird. My glasses. I like a pair of glasses that's proud to be a pair of glasses. You can look at my face. Look, he's wearing glasses. Wenger, it's like, are they glasses? I can see there's frames. I'm not sure if they're glasses, though. Proper glasses. I'm ashamed of my spectacle wearing. I'm the glasses poster boy. This episode has got away from me a little bit. I've got no excuses for it, other than the fact I'm recording much later in the day than I normally do. I normally record in the morning. It's 4 o'clock as I record this. And now I'm remembering why I record in the morning. That's my brain's at its sharpest. I'm a disaster. I'm in stream mode. That's the problem. This is what I'm like when streams start in the evenings. I'm a consummate professional in the morning. If we're going to concede a goal here after I've just said we're obviously better than Fulham, that's sickening, because that's a number of occasions now since I've been here that we've conceded these kind of late goals. We were 2-0 up over Norwich and we ended up losing. And we were comfortably 2-0 up over Fulham and we've just given away a late goal again. And we're doing this a little bit too often. There's still major signs of sloppiness around this club. How can we beat Manchester City, be in control against Fulham, and then not win? That is very much 2 points dropped, and I am furious. Right, we'll be back at the end of January because there's going to be plenty of transfers to show you tomorrow. So we'll come back probably for the Southampton game, maybe for the Europa League game against the team I've never been able to say. Somewhere in here, we'll come back and I'll show you the transfers, and hopefully we'll have won a few more games between now and then. I mean, looking at the next 4 league games, they're all very much winnable. Everton, Leicester, West Ham, Palace. I mean, Everton and Leicester are the two of the teams right in this battle with us. By the time we get to the next episode, we should be out of the relegation zone. If we're not, we are in big, big trouble. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.